A pleasant morning, sir. My name is Siarot, one of the reporter of the topic World Englishes. So here's my report or PowerPoint presentation. So World Englishes presented to our purposive communication instructor, Sir Fernando Cortez, and presented by myself, Siarot, BSIT second year student. So, what is World Englishes? So, the term World Englishes refers to the differences in the English language that emerge as it is used in various contexts across the world. In contact with indigenous language, new, increasingly stable, and localized varieties of English with properties and functions of their own have grown in many countries. So these varieties have come to be summarily labeled as World Englishes. So English is very well-known language. It is a universal language where it is usually used to communicate people in other countries. Because of various motives of colonization and globalization from a social and linguistic perspective, the English is widely used language as formal and other interactions of many people live in one country. That's why the World English has formed. So World English is a general term of referring to English as spoken throughout all 5 continents. So the reference is usually to that core of language which is common to all varieties of English and which contains no specific features of any one varieties. So here's the English language is now spoken in more than 100 countries. So these are the varieties of World English. So some are American English, Spanglish, Caribbean English, Jenglish, Indian English, New Zealand English, Scottish English, Spanglish, West African Pidgin English, Australian English, British English, Chicano English, Euro English, Irish English, Nigerian English, Singapore English, Taglish, Babu English, Canadian English, Chinese English, English, Japanese English, Philippine English, South African English, Welsh English, and Zimbabwean English. So World English has been defined as a phase in the history of the English language. So this phase has witnessed the transformation of English from the mother tongue of a handful of nations to a language being used by far more speakers in non-mother tongue settings. So the changes that have accompanied the spread, the multiplicity of varieties, result not from the faulty and imperfect learning of the non-mother tongue speakers, but the nature of the process of micro-acquisition, language spread and change, says by Janina Brott-Giffler in her book World English. So, here's the origin of the World Englishes. So, in 1965, linguist Brad Scotcherow, 1932 to 2016, publishes his first journal article entitled The Indigenous in Indian English. In the article, he lays the theoretical groundwork for the idea of World Englishes by interpreting how English is nativized in India, delineating some of its unique sociological and cultural aspects, and showing that Indian English is a unique variety of English which is neither in American or British English. In 1984, Scotcherow formally introduces the term World Englishes at the Teachers of English to Speakers of Other Languages or TESOL conference along with the global profile of English. Later, he proposes the 3 concentric circles model. Both papers are subsequently published. So here's the Scotcherow's 3 concentric circle model. So we have the inner circle, the outer circle, and the expanding circle. So what is the inner circle? Or best example of it is USA and UK. So the inner circle refers to the countries where English is used as the primary language, such as the USA, Britain, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. So the next one is the outer circle. The outer or the middle circle denotes those countries where English usage has some colonial history. So this includes nations such as India, Bangladesh, Ghana, Kenya, Malaysia, Nigeria, Pakistan, Philippines, Singapore, Sri Lanka, Tanzania, and Zambia. So the last one is the expanding circle. So the expanding circle includes countries where English is spoken but where it does not necessarily have a colonial history or primary or official language status. This includes nations such as China, Japan, South Korea, Egypt, Nepal, Indonesia, Israel, Korea, Saudi Arabia, Taiwan, USSR, and Zimbabwe. So this concentric circle model does not only show the widespread of English across the world, but also emphasizes the concept of pluralism, linguistic heterogeneity, cultural diversity, and the different theoretical and methodological foundations for teaching and research in English. So Petru also defines the quality of nativeness in World Englishes in terms of both its functional domains and range and its depth in social penetration and resultant acculturation. So, a community acquires native English-speaking status as it is used as English in a greater number of societal contexts. So this process, however, shaped the historical role of English in community. Consequently, Kachuru acquires the English language belongs not only to its native speakers, but also to its various non-native users throughout the world. In 1992, Larry E. Smith contributes a chapter titled Spread of English and Issues of Intelligibility to the Other Tongue, English Across Cultures, edited by Raj V. Kachuru. Smith in this chapter mentions that since the global spread of English has been very rapid by historical standards, not all these English varieties will necessarily be intelligible to each other. So he also proposes the following three terms to understand the interaction between speaker and listener. So first, the intelligibility or word or utterance recognition. Second, comprehensibility or the word or utterance meaning or locutionary force. And the last one, the third one, is the interpretability or the meaning behind word or utterance, or it is a illocutionary force. So here's the standardized patterns. In the introduction to the book, English in the World, Global Rules, Rani Robdi and Mario Saraceni point out the global spread of English, its causes and consequences, have long been a focus of critical discussion. One of the main concerns has been that of standardization. So this is also because, unlike other international languages such as Spanish and French, English lacks any official body setting and prescribing the forms of the language. So one consequence of global predominance that English has gained over the last few decades is that today non-native speakers of English far outnumber its native speakers. So in the Oxford Guide of World English, or in the Oxford Guide to World English, Tom MacArthur says, although World English is varied, certain varieties and registers are fairly tightly controlled. So often through standardized patterns of use, thus there is a marked uniformity in the following areas. So in the airports, in the public usage of international airports, where on signboards, English is often twinned with other languages, and announcements are commonly in English or the multilingual including English. Second one, in the newspapers and periodicals. So English language broadsheet newspapers and magazine-style periodicals in which the texts are tightly edited. Third one, the broadcast media. The programming of CNN, the BBC, and other specialty TV news and views services in which presentational formulas and formats are at least as crucial as in newspapers. So the last one, in the computer use, in the email and the internet or web, in such computer and internet services as those offered by Microsoft. So all of them are usually use English. So World English has regional examples. So in British and American English, Trudgill 2004 provides 5 general reasons for the development of linguistic differences between American and British English. So American English has adapted to new topographical and biological features unknown in Britain. For example, the word robin in North America refers to a bird that which is different from its referent in Britain, and the meaning of the word bluff, which means an act of deceiving someone as to one's intentions, has been expanded to refer to a cliff or headland along the river. Since the departure of English settlers for America, linguistic changes have occurred in Britain that have not occurred in America. For example, the glottaling of intervocalic and word final T, as in better and bet, has become typical of British but not of American English that came from Wells 1982. Similarly, since the arrival of English from Britain, linguistic changes have taken place in America that have not occurred in Britain. For example, the voicing of intervocalic T and the flapping of intervocalic T and D, as in city, ready, are typical of American and not of British English. American English has experienced forms of language contact with indigenous languages that have not been experienced by British English. For example, American English has borrowed lexical items such as skunk and caucus from Native American languages. That is from Romain 2001. American English has experienced forms of language contact with other European languages in the colonial situation that have not been experienced by British English. For example, American English has borrowed lexical items such as cookie or biscuit in British English. From Dutch and Kay Islet from Spanish, it is also thought that some unique grammatical constructions of American English, such as "Are you coming with?" and "I like to skate," as opposed to "I like skating," are the result of German and or Yiddish influence. So the second example, regional example, is South African English. In South Africa, English is not monolithic. It has a wide range of varieties, much as it does in any English-speaking country in the world. So the emergence of distinctly South African qualities of English have been recognized in different domains, such as lexical variation, pronunciation variation, and grammatical variation. So similarly, English has developed along a number of different trajectories in South Africa since its transplantation. So English has gained significant numbers of speakers in the country since the 1820s. So and is currently spoken natively by about 2 million whites and nearly 1 million non-whites, so mixed race, including the Indian origin speakers. That is came from Trudgill and Haha 2008. Vanwood 2017 mentions that recently English enjoys the highest status and widest range of uses in South Africa with its unique features. So in Tetru's framework, South Africa belongs simultaneously to two of the proposed three concentric circles of English. So the inner circle on the one hand and the outer circle on the other. So this is because English is used in South Africa as a native language by some, for instance, whites of British descent and the younger generations of South African Indians, and as a second language by others, namely the black population, the older generations of South African Indians, and the whites of Dutch descent, the Afrikaners. So, the differences of South African and British in terms of vocabulary. So, in South Africa, so that is the end of my presentation. So, thank you, sir, and God bless.